Can this month's Beer 52 Hop Explorers start off with a bang, or will it be a bit of a damp squid? Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review, and today we've got a review of the first beer that we're trying from the Beer 52 subscription box, and this month's theme is Hop Explorers. And the first beer we're going to try is this one, Wiper and True. Now, I've tried a Wiper and True before. I've got it here about a month or a couple of months even ago, and I got this from Waitrose. So this is another Wiper and True. You can see that the theme is pretty similar. The cans are all white with like a lovely little bit of metallic gold on there. But this one, obviously, we're exploring different hops. So this is a Pale Ale, Hop Garden Series No.3, Ekuanot. Now, I've got a vague familiarity about that name, but I'm not quite sure what exactly Ekuanot is like as a hop. But Wiper and True, the last one was really good. Everyone says that this is a good brewery, and I don't know what it is about them, but I just love the can. Simple, nice gold. They basically changed the image each time. Obviously, let's read what it says on the can. This is a third of our Hop Garden series, a collection that celebrates the flavour profiles of our favourite hops. This iteration is all about Ekuanot, a beginning and hot hop that delivers a pithy, citrus-driven flavour to the beer. Gentle bitter hints of dark marmalade are rounded out by tropical notes of papaya, chilled. Well, I mean, I love marmalade. Call me Paddington Bear, but marmalade is a big fan. I'm a big fan of marmalade. No one else in my family likes marmalade, and maybe it's a bit of a Marmite thing. A lot of people don't like it, but let's see what this is like. Let's get this beer out of the can into that glass. I'm really excited about this because last month's Beer 52, the Netherlands box, was, generally pretty damn good. So let's see if we can. We've got lots of different beers this time. We've got 10 really from the box. There we go. Well, I mean, when it says marmalade, I expected it to be a bit darker than that, but that is really, really light lemon flavour. Straw coloured, you'd almost say. We've got a one finger head there, high levels of carbonation. You can see the bubbles there. Look at the side. Look at those moving up the glass really quickly. Let's get some aroma, shall we? See if we can get some of those. Wow, it doesn't really smell of anything. Well, that's a strange one, really. I'm wondering whether I've got coronavirus. I can't smell anything on this. No, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not even a whiff of a tropical fruit. There's nothing. There's nothing to smell on this beer. It's incredible. No, nothing. It's almost. A lot of sort of lagers, they don't really smell of that much. There's that sort of fizzy. Sometimes you get a little bit of a biscuity sort of crackery sort of tone. But with this, I'm smelling nothing. So I've got to dive in and see whether the flavours are going to be there. So cheers, everyone. I'm a little bit disappointed. It's very nothingy, really. It's not unpleasant, but it's almost, there's quite a strong bitterness at the beginning, really. I'm getting slight citrusy notes, but they're quite subtle. I'm not getting anything tropical, and I'm dying to get that. I'm not even getting that marmalade-y taste. There's a bitterness there, which I suppose you could confuse with a marmalade. Marmalade can be a little bit bitter, but I'm not getting that sort of orangey flavour or anything in this. Bitter. It's like a very very average pale ale. I'm not seeing that. I'm gonna consult the magazine again, because the magazine has some tasting notes to see if it can inspire me to think, oh yeah, that's what it tastes a bit like. A celebration of Ekuanot, amplified by yeast. Kviek yeast fermented to high temperature contributes to a citrus-driven ester profile to the beer. There's an edge of bitterness. Well, I say there's more of an edge. Pithy aromas, hints of dark marmalade on from the hop, rounded out by a touch of tropical fruitiness. Papaya. Citrus. But it's, for me, it's ruined by the fact that the bitterness is all at the front and in the back. You know, a lot of the time when you've got a decent sort of beer where you want that little bit of bitterness, it usually is coming in on the back end. You get the sort of juice, the tropical stuff as the first flavour, and then as that sort of flavour sort of envelopes over the back of the palate and over the tongue and down the throat, you get that bitterness, and that makes you realise that you're drinking beer. But with it, the bitterness is quite high up front. Excuse me. It's not a bad beer. It's not like it's not a bit. I have drank some craft beers that I've found that I couldn't drink anymore and I had to throw down the sink. This isn't it. But it's not my style. It's really sharp, cutting. There's that sort of sharp. I suppose there's a little bit of that dryness at the beginning, but then it hits the bitterness, and I'm not getting much fruit flavours. I'm not getting any tropical notes. I'm certainly not getting marmalade. So it's a little bit disappointing. Some people may like it, but for me, it doesn't do anything. It's not going anywhere. It doesn't. It's more than adequate to drink, but I don't know. I just want a bit more from my craft beer. I want some flavours that I can sort of, grab onto with two hands, really. And this doesn't really have it. All I get is that dry and bitter taste. It's like a sort of slightly sort of flowery lager that you would get, got a bit more going on, but it doesn't have. I mean, you can see it's pretty clear there. There's not much. There's not really. I would say it's a very slight haziness, but it's quite clear. It's a little bit fizzy. I think I need to have a little analysis and do some scores. So let's get some scores for Wiper and True, Pale Ale, and this is the Ekuanot series. Okay, here comes the scores. Okay, the scores are in for the Wiper and True, and this beer hasn't really got a name. It's a pale ale, but we call it Hop Garden Series No.3 Ekuanot. We call it the Ekuanot, shall we? It's a little bit more snappier title. A little bit disappointed with this beer. It's not unpleasant. It really, I want to sort of state this is not an unpleasant beer, but it just does nothing. It doesn't go anywhere. It's bland, a little bit bland. So aromas. This is gonna. I mean, we're scoring this one out of 20 for aromas. I mean, a lot of the scores we're getting, really low scores would get 10, but most 12, 13, 14, 15. It smells of nothing. I mean, I can't give it a 0 out of 20 because it doesn't smell bad. It's just there's no smell. So I'm gonna give it 5 out of 20, and that's gonna really rocket score. It's gonna really lower that overall score down. For 5 out of 20 for aroma, I think that's the lowest aroma score I've ever given on a beer. Appearance, well, it's it's nice. It's clear. You got a nice, the head's there. You get see the lacing of the glass. Certainly looks quite nice, yellowy, quite pale. You can't see through it, but it's not that hazy. But I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 for appearance. Flavour. I sort of contemplated the flavour of this because, again, it like the aroma, there's nothing to it. You drink it and it's melon, maybe grape. You've got to really search your, memory banks for those flavours that you may have tasted before, but there's nothing obvious. There's no tropical notes. It says there's marmalade. There's no marmalade, but it's very bitter. Dry and bitter, which you normally get dry or you get bitter, but this has got this dry bitter thing going on. And that makes it a little bit less pleasant for me. So, flavour, 20. I'm giving it 25 out of 40. And again, that's pretty low score, but it's not horrible, but it's, I think you should try it. It's a very acquired taste, but it just doesn't have anything you can just sort of grab onto and say, yeah, it tastes like that. Well, it's got a flavour of that. Yeah, not great. Value for money. It's a free 30ml can. It's from Beer 52s. That works about £3 a can. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 for value for money, like a lot of the Beer 52 beers. And in terms of my overall experience, well, I'm giving it a 10 out of 20. It is not a horrible beer, but it just doesn't really taste of anything. It's like when you go to a pub. When I went on holiday, went over to North Wales, went into Anglesey, went into a pub, and I thought, right, what have you got? You got anything craft? And they didn't really, but they did have this sort of craft pale ale. And I thought, well, I'll give that a try. And you drank it, and it just tasted like a more bitter floral sort of lager. It had a little bit more going on for it than a lager, but there was no real flavour that you could sort of grab onto and say, oh yeah, this tastes a bit like pineapple, or this has got grapefruit or citrus or anything like that. And this is similar to it. So 10 out of 20, and that gives an overall score of only a 54 out of 100. It's not even a Coldplay beer. It's, it's a Kylie Minogue. And to be honest, I'd rather eat one of these rice crackers, because this beer, I want more from it. It's 5.2%. Let's hope that the Hop Explorer gets better from here. So, until the next review, keep on rocking.